I met Jean when she was president of the Washington Farm Forestry Association, and we did a lot of work together. I was the attorney for the Farm Forestry Association at the time, so I would have been attending board meetings and as they put together testimony to the legislature.
I've known Jean for a number of years through our association with Washington Farm Forestry Association. We were both on the executive committee and went to annual meetings and would see her quite often. Back in those days, it was more of a man's world, and she started coming to meetings as really was highly respected for leadership in farm forestry. So in 1991, she was elected president of the Farm Forestry Association, the first woman to serve as president. So she did that for 2 years. And in 1991, in that period of time, if you remember, that's when the TFW, the Timber, Fish, and Wildlife, was going on. And that was tough negotiations. That was a big change for the industry. And Jean was in the middle of that.
And there was a particular time under then Commissioner Brian Boyle when he famously said to the audience at a Forest Practices Board meeting that if the farm foresters ever started contributing something to the state's economy, then perhaps the Forest Practices Board would be willing to listen to their position. That infuriated all of us, absolutely infuriated us. So when the opportunity to be appointed to be the small landowner representative to the Forest Practices Board came up, Jean was convinced to take that position.
I was always impressed by Jean's composure at Forest Practices Board meetings and how cool she was during potentially adversarial situations.
It was a wonderful thing to watch a strong, determined, educated woman take the positions that she was able to take. And she was always quiet, she was always persuasive, she was always dignified, and it sometimes infuriated people who really wanted to make her angry enough to lose her poise.
I knew Jean Bolton when she was president of Farm Forestry Association. I remember her as being a hard worker, a good listener, always a smile on her face, very dedicated to small family forests.
Hey Jean, Rick Dunning here. I'd like to thank you for your policy work on timber, fish, and wildlife negotiations and your time spent working on the Forest Practice Board for small forest landowners. I was always impressed with your professionalism. Thank you.
When I was elected to be the president of the Washington Farm Forestry Association, Jean Bolton was one of the first people to come up and congratulate me. That was a very big honor for me because I knew Jean had been the WFFA's very first female president. I asked her what her advice was for me. She made it very simple. Do your best and tell our story as no one else can. Jean was a trailblazer as the first female president, not because she was the female president, but because she could tell the story of what it was to be a legacy generational owner of a family forest. She could show the world that we were the stewards of the land for generations to come. She had lived that. And that was what she brought to the negotiations of the Forest and Fish law when she was our president. Her advice to me was very valuable, and it's one I still hold, to tell our story as no one else can.
Yeah, Jean's just a wonderful person, and it's been a pleasure to know her and for her tree farming and farm forestry leadership.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jean.